everyone, I'm Emily, and like Brendan said, I'm here to take you guys through a quick chat on the CSS, what it is and how we're using it to improve our e-commerce clients' feed-driven activity. So when I say feed, I mean shopping and performance max campaigns. And then after that, we can all take a break and get a coffee. So this is something in recent months that's becoming very relevant across digital marketing, is the topic of inflation and how, like it's impacting everything else, it's driving up the cost of PPC activity on Google and on other platforms. So you'll see a lot of different topics. A lot of people are talking about this. I took a look at a lot of these studies from different agencies and different companies to take a look and see what exactly this impact has been. And on average, year on year, it looks like the number that we're looking at is around a 7 to 12% increase in CPCs compared to last year. And this is a big metric. CPCs, or your cost per click, is how much you're paying for your traffic. And it's kind of the bottom line metric that's going to impact all of your other performance. If you're paying more for your traffic, then that means you're getting less traffic for your budget, which means less sales, less revenue, and overall a less efficient campaign. So after taking a look at that, my next step was to take a look at e-commerce clients working with Wolfgang and seeing what that CPC increase year on year looked like for the same time period. So we are definitely still seeing an increase. If you guys remember Beth and Kenya's conversation, specifically those slides on the big power players like Amazon and Temu, they're definitely making their presence known in a big way, and that's having an impact on CPCs. But on average, we're only up about 5% year on year. So we're a little bit ahead of the curve in terms of that CPC inflation. So what are some of the things that are impacting that? Going back a few years, some of you guys may remember Google was getting a bit of pushback from the European Commission. And this was specifically around the shopping section of their website. And if you're an online retailer, the only way to get your information featured here was hosting through the Google's platform. As a result of this, one of the things that came out was the creation of the CSS, or comparison shopping service. And you've probably seen this yourself as well too, even if it's not something you're familiar with. Shopping ads now at the bottom will have links to different platforms and services that if you click through to them, you'll see separate websites where you can comparison shop among different online retailers. And we can now use this to host our shopping ads in addition to Google's shopping service. So we can host our shopping ads on a few different platforms now, but what does this actually mean in terms of our PPC activity? So there's a few things. To start, one of the things we can do is we can make our feeds more secure. So if you know a PPC specialist and for fun want to give them a little anxiety attack, the easiest way to do that is to show them this email. This is an automated message from Google letting you know that something's wrong. It's either your feed or your website. They'll give you a hint. They won't tell you exactly what it is, but you have a limited amount of time to fix it. Otherwise, all of your ads that involve your product feed are going to go down. So all of your performance max, all your shopping, all of it's paused. And to give you an example of probably one of the worst case scenarios this can impact activity, if we go back a few years, it was December 23rd. I was already back in New York with my family, getting ready to celebrate Christmas. My out of office was on. I was having a good time. And I'm like, let me just take a quick check at my work email and see how things are going on there. And I had one of these for one of my clients. Google decided there was something on the website that it needed to get fixed. The only problem was that the only people who could do that were also on holiday and were not checking their emails like I was. So by the time that we got in touch, got a solution in place, tested it out, got their ads sorted, their shopping activity was down for about 15 days. So their whole New Year's sale period, it was pretty rough. And I won't say exactly how much revenue this turned out to for them, but I will share this separate graph showing that on average, for our e-commerce clients, feed-driven activity is going to account for about 56% of their overall revenue. So you can imagine how fun of a time that was. So how does the CSS help us get around that type of scenario? So because we can take the same feed and host it on these different platforms, if one of them gets hit with one of these messages from Google, the other ones might not get hit for a day or two or maybe a week or more, depending on the severity of the alert, which gives you vital time back to take a look and see what's going on and to find a solution that's going to work for them. Because even in that scenario where your primary feed goes down, if you have more than one running, the other one's going to pop back up, and it's going to pick up that slack when the first one's going down. And so instead of a total blackout on your shopping ads, you get a little blip in activity, and it's so much preferable to the alternative. You can see here an example of Elvery's using more than one CSS at a given time if you take a look at that bottom row there. So in a given search, you're not going to see the same product appearing more than once with these because the feeds aren't going to be competing with one another. They don't cross bid the way that keyword bidding used to. If you had more than one keyword running at the same time, they work in tandem together in a single account, which is really useful when it comes to the next benefit, which is a bit of performance control. Like my colleagues were saying earlier, automation is making itself known in a lot of areas where it wouldn't have been before, but it's still so important for us to be able to test and deliver insights and see what's working and what's not working. And being able to do this with the feed lets us run different tests and scenarios. So for example, if you have two different CSSs, you could use one for your Performance Max campaigns and one for your shopping campaigns. Now in a normal straightforward setup where it's all hosted the same way, Google is going to prioritize your Performance Max campaigns. But if you have them set up separately, you have a bit more distance between the two, and you can get visibility on your shopping ads without necessarily having to lower your ROAS target, which is one of the ways that you might need to otherwise. And this way you can get kind of the benefit of both campaign types, whether it's the scalability and the remarketing power that Performance Max has, or the tighter brand control and search insights that you're going to get from your shopping activity. You can also do things like, for instance, test out different titles, take some of those insights that we might be getting from TikTok or the SEO work and see, okay, if we tweak our ads this way, what's the impact going to be? It's really one of the things that we push for with Wolfgang so much. And the final element that's there, which is the big one, is you're going to get cheaper CPCs. Going into this talk, if you knew anything about the CSS, it's that Google is incentivizing marketers to use this by offering 20% CPCs for activity that runs through the CSS. If you just Google CSS, you'll see these providers are using it as their main USP, talking about 20%, 20%. At Wolfgang, though, data has to back up every decision that we make. So if somebody says 20% cheaper CPCs, we have to test it out and see. So we set up a triple blind test with one of our e-commerce clients to see how the CSS performed against the Google Shopping hosted ads. And the CPCs actually were not 20% cheaper. They were 19.99995% cheaper. And I'm almost mad about how on the spot the numbers were after we put everything together and summed them all up, because it never works out that on the nose. But sure, there you have it. And to just finish things off, these are just some results that we got from some of the first clients that we set up with the CSS, just the immediate impact that this has on your overall ROAS, in addition to being able to deliver better insights and have stronger results across your PPC activity. Thanks so much.